And there's more news on apparent COVID scams in the United States. An associate of Anthony Fauci, the former chief medical advisor to the U.S. president during the pandemic, used his private email address to avoid transparency and keep potential findings about the disease origins from going public. Here's RT correspondent Caleb Maupin with the details.
The Congressional Committee investigating the COVID-19 pandemic has got its hands on some important new evidence. It appears that Dr. David Morens, advisor to Anthony Fauci, who handled COVID policy for the White House, was using his personal email to avoid transparency. He did not want conversations about the possible origin of the virus to end up in the hands of the public.
During this investigation, the Select Subcommittee discovered that Dr. David Morens potentially used a personal email account to avoid transparency and that he may have deleted federal records. The Select Subcommittee is now aware of potential further attempts by Dr. Morens to subvert public transparency.
Dr. Morens' email as a public official would have been subject to the Freedom of Information Act, so he used Gmail to avoid it. This is interesting in light of the new revelations from Senator Rand Paul. U.S. Senator Rand Paul has put forward documents showing that 15 different U.S. federal agencies were aware that the Wuhan Institute of Virology was engaging in research trying to develop a virus like COVID-19. The U.S. government even funded this research, and it appears they tried to cover it up.
Yeah, we found out about this first from a brave Marine who reported that this research was grant proposal back in 2018 would have allowed Wuhan Institute to create a virus very similar to what COVID-19 turned out to be.
Paul, a ranking member of the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee, has put forward information showing that 15 different federal agencies were aware that the EcoHealth Alliance and the Wuhan Institute of Virology had applied for funding to carry out research to develop a virus much like COVID-19 in 2018. Now, at this point, Rand Paul has put forward a letter asking why this information was not presented to the public.
For years, I have been fighting to obtain records from dozens of federal agencies relating to the origins of COVID-19 and the Diffuse Project. Under duress, the administration finally released documents that show that the Diffuse Project was pitched to at least 15 agencies in January 2018. It means that at least 15 federal agencies knew from the beginning of the pandemic that EcoHealth Alliance and the Wuhan Institute of Virology were seeking federal funding in 2018 to create a virus genetically very similar if not identical to COVID-19. Disturbingly, not one of these 15 agencies spoke up to warn us that the Wuhan Institute of Virology had been pitching this research. Not one of these agencies warned anyone that this Chinese lab had already put together plans to create such a virus.
The lockdowns had a devastating effect on the American economy. Many people in the United States feel that the pandemic ruined their lives. So now, new information showing that the government may have hidden the truth is unlikely to improve the matter.